for Maris, as in Roger, and Mantle, as in Mickey. And now Moss, as a rookie named Kevin, takes over as a Yankee home run hero. But today, the Yanks face Oakland's Bob Welch, whose 18 victories are the most in the majors. Jerry Reinsdorf owns the White Sox and chairs the committee that will vote on who runs the Yanks. We'll get his views. And isn't this guy too old to be pitching? We'll find out what Bob Uecker's doing back in uniform. Major League Baseball is next on CBS Sports. Everyone, I'm Greg Gumbel. Welcome to a special Sunday edition of Major League Baseball here on CBS. This afternoon, you will see the New York Yankees try to win their first game of the season against the Oakland Athletics. The A's have won all 8 meetings so far this year. But first, it's a busy Major League scoreboard this afternoon. Let's update you, beginning with the game at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, where the Reds lead San Francisco 4-2. That game is moved to the 3rd inning. The Reds scored all 4 of their runs in the first inning, 2 of them coming home on Barry Larkin's double down the left field line off the wall. They scored them off of Scott Gorelch. Robbie Thompson has homered, and the Giants have come back to cut that margin in half. But right now, it's a 4-2 Cincinnati lead. At Atlanta, the Dodgers have gotten an RBI single from Eddie Murray and a 2-run double from Rick Dempsey and lead the Braves 3-0 in the second. They are in the 5th inning at Pittsburgh, and St. Louis leads the Pirates by 3. Vince Coleman had perhaps the shortest triple of the season. The blooper down the right field line. Jose Lean can't catch up. Bodies go flying, and speaking of flying, look at Coleman around second on his way to third. He scored from there. The Cards scored all 3 of their runs in the 3rd inning, and they lead the Pirates 3-0 in the 5th inning. They're in the 4th at Montreal, and the Expos are playing home run derby today. Dave Martinez has hit 2 two-run shots. Tim Raines has 1, and they lead the Phillies 5-2. In the 2nd inning at Kansas City, the Royals lead the Brewers by a 2-0 count. Jim Eisenreich has an RBI single, and so does Gerald Perry. And they're in the 5th inning at Cleveland. The Indians lead the Tigers 3-2. Travis Fryman and Alan Trammell have both homered for Detroit, but they trail by 1. When we come back, first we'll talk about the PGA Championship, which is now into its final round, and Wayne Grady is leading Fred Couples by 2 shots. Now, when we come back, you will hear from Chicago White Sox owner Jerry Reinsdorf, who heads the American League Committee that will eventually approve the Yankees' new managing general partner, whoever that may be.
CBS Sports presents Major League Baseball. Today's pregame is brought to you by Nuprin, the medicine that gives you big pain relief in a little yellow pill, in tablets and caplets. And by Minwax Wood Finishes. Minwax makes wood beautiful.
The owners of the New York Yankees are scheduled to meet to name a new managing general partner to replace George Steinbrenner. But that's only the first step in the approval process. The nominee then has to receive the approval of Major League Baseball's 8-man ownership committee and then collect a minimum 10 votes from American League owners and 7 from the National League. White Sox owner Jerry Reinsdorf chairs that ownership committee, and I asked him late yesterday what time frame we're dealing with to approve a new Yankee chief.
Well, it's not something that will be done in a matter of 1 or 2 weeks. We can't even begin to start our work until we know who we're going to be dealing with. But there's an awful lot that goes into approving a transfer of control. The 8 owners on this committee take their work very seriously, because essentially what we will be doing will be approving a new partner. And it's very important to us that we get the quality of people in baseball that we think we're going to need as we go forward in the 90s.
Well, what I'm wondering, Jerry, is what happens when the August 20th deadline, the one that the commissioner has given George Steinbrenner, comes and goes, and there is no managing partner that has been approved as yet, and what you have is a team in the league that is essentially without leadership?
Well, the commissioner is going to have to provide for some sort of an interim procedure. Somebody is going to have to take over on August the 20th, regardless of the fact that there will not have been somebody approved as a successor to George. And I've spoken to the commissioner, and I know that he will be coming up with that interim procedure within the next day or so.
Jerry, I know over the years you've been close to George Steinbrenner. Do you have any indication as to who it might be?
No, I don't. We've heard rumors that it might be Hank Steinbrenner. We've also heard rumors that Hank doesn't want to do it. We're just going to have to wait and see. I have absolutely no insight into who that's going to be.
If it were Hank Steinbrenner, would he win your vote of approval?
Well, I can't answer that right now because I think anybody who judges Hank Steinbrenner or anybody else before the research and the investigation has been done would not be very fair. Nobody should come into this in favor of or against anybody. We have a lot of work to do in checking out the person that's going to get nominated, and nobody should be making a decision until that work is done.
And we'll keep an eye out today should the statement come from the commissioner regarding that interim procedure Jerry Reinsdorf talked about. Well, because Jose Canseco's bad back will again keep him on the bench today, we won't see him go head-to-head with the young Yankee slugger who is attracting so much attention, Kevin Moss. But our Tim McCarver did get them side-by-side a short while ago.
All right, two guys with enormous appeal and enormous ability. Jose Canseco from the West Coast, Kevin Moss from the East Coast. If you had any advice for Kevin Moss, what would it be?
I would just tell him to really come out here and have fun. He's first-year rookie. He's had great numbers coming into the season so far. And really there's so much pressure and so much emphasis put on ball players, the money they make nowadays. Really try to keep the game simple. Come out here, enjoy yourself, enjoy the media, enjoy the fans. And, you know, he's definitely going to put up great numbers, especially what he's done so far. And hopefully he can continue that.
Kevin, can you enjoy the media in New York City?
Well, I've enjoyed it so far, but it's only been good things so far, and I'm just hoping to try to keep a positive attitude on everything, and through the ups and the downs, just trying to stay at one level and not getting too excited about anything. And the way things have been going right now, you know, hopefully at the end of the season I can look back and say, you know, you had a good year, but just taking it one day at a time.
As Don Mattingly, who broke in as a first baseman in New York about 8 years ago, has he had any advice for you?
Well, he's been helping me a lot. You know, he's a true professional and a good friend, and has been helping me out in any way he can, just hitting and fielding, and I've gotten a lot from him.
Thanks a lot, guys. I hope your back's better.
Thank you. You get it this time?
Jose with a major league concern for our videotape capabilities. We're coming back in a moment. The question is Mr. Baseball getting ready for a comeback? On the game taking place at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, Hal Morris has just homered for the Cincinnati Reds to boost the Reds' lead to 5-3. Gary Carter's sacrifice fly had pulled the Giants to within one, but Morris slams number 6 of the year into the seats in right, and that gives the Cincinnati Reds the 5-3 lead over San Francisco. That game now into the third inning. Well, there's no one chasing this man's records. There's no debate about whether or not he will enter the Hall of Fame, yet he is called with tongue cemented solidly in cheek, Mr. Baseball. Former catcher-turned-Milwaukee play-by-play broadcaster Bob Uecker is well known as one of the game's most humorous observers, and when he's not behind the mic, he's pitching batting practice with a purpose.
It's an everyday thing. It's not something I do once in a while. I do it every day, more so looking down the road than for today. Expansion is coming in a couple of years, and the Japanese people have never seen me play either.
Quick, while someone runs out to warn the Japanese, the question is, Uke, during BP, does it matter who you're pitching to out there?
Names don't mean anything to me when I'm out there throwing batting practice. I'm trying to get people out. Most batting practice pitchers go out there and try to let the guys hit the ball. I'm out there on a different mission. I'm trying to get them out, and if some guy hits a ball too hard off me, I'll throw one at his head. I'm not ashamed to do that either. I think it prepares the guys for the game a little bit. I'll come high and tight on them, and if they hit one back through the middle on me, that really aggravates me. I might throw 2 at once.
May he pitch BP for 100 years. Right now, we are ready for baseball, the Yankees and the Oakland Athletics. I'll be back throughout the afternoon with scores and highlights. CBS Sports coverage of Major League Baseball will continue after this word from your local station.
Championship flag, a team must work hard for 162 games, and the Oakland A's know that. Even when a star player like Canseco goes down or Ricky Henderson can't play, the others step in. Like power-hitting Mark McGwire and pure-hitting Carney Lansford. But most of all, these Oakland A's do the little things. They hit and run, and they make it work. They advance a runner, and they drive him home. In addition, they play great defense. Everyone has a job to do, and they do it. The result, baseball's best team. For Stump Merrill and the New York Yankees, that caliber of team is only a dream. For the moment, all he has is some fine young players like Jim Leyritz. and Oscar Azokar. And most of all, a power-hitting first baseman, Kevin Moss. He is the pillar for the future. Today, the Yankees meet the world champion A's as CBS Sports presents Major League Baseball. Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to have a sellout crowd here in the Oakland Coliseum, and another wonderful day to enjoy baseball as the Yankees attempt to beat Oakland for the first time in 1990. A year ago, California was only one game behind, and Oakland had won 70. Look, they've won 72 already, and little wonder the White Sox have a tough time keeping up. They are 4.5 behind. I'm Jack Buck with Tim McCarver, and this Yankee team hasn't won here all year. Maybe they'll have a better chance today. Jose Canseco can't play, and Ricky Henderson is out of the lineup. All they have to do, Tim McCarver, is beat Bob Welch.
Bob Welch, what a deal the Athletics made 3 years ago when they obtained Bob Welch. Since that time, he's been 52-21. Bob Welch this year, the winningest pitcher in baseball. He's 18-4, an earned run average hovering right around 3. So it's indeed going to be a tough assignment for the Yankees today.
Two right-handers will pitch today, and that means Mike Witt for the Yankees. Let's have a good one.
CBS Sports presents Major League Baseball. Today's game is brought to you by Today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America. Scope, the best thing, first thing in the morning. And by Budweiser, the king of beers. Remember, know when to say when.
The folks have an easy time coming to this ballpark with the BART system here in the Bay Area, and these folks get here early to watch their ball club, which is rolling right along. Previously, Bob Welch season's high was 17 victories, so this is a banner campaign for him, and those are some of his stats. Here is the group playing behind him, Tim.
Defensively, Doug Jennings in left field. You remember that Jose Canseco was scratched from yesterday's lineup. Dave Henderson in center field, and Felix Jose, who was slated in left field, is in right field today, just like yesterday. Carney Lansford, the third baseman. The glue of the Oakland defense, Walt Weiss at shortstop. Willie Randolph, the ex-captain of the Yankees, at second base. Mark McGwire over at first. Behind the plate, Ron Hasse. He has caught every start for Bob Welch this year, and on the mound, Bob Welch.
Here is the lineup for the New York Yankees, and Roberto Kelly is getting ready to go. Steve Sax, Oscar Azokar, Mel Hall, Kevin Moss, Matt Noakes is the designated hitter, Jim Leyritz at third, Bob Guerin the catcher, Alvaro Espinosa is the shortstop, and they'll pitch the right-hander Mike Witt. And here is the first pitch of the day to Roberto. And it's outside ball one, as Kelly had a couple of hits yesterday. He's up to 286. And he is one of the few good base stealers on this Yankee team. And it's out of play. That's strike two. Another lovely afternoon here in Oakland. We were here yesterday for CBS, and perhaps you saw that game, and you'll get to know these two teams a little bit better this afternoon. Count 1-1. And the foul at the feet of the catcher, Hasse. The plate umpire is Tim McClellan. He's happy that ball hit the catcher rather than him. Durwood Merrill is umpiring at first, Don Denkinger at second, and John Shulock at third base. The pitch to Kelly, and it missed outside, 2-2. Speaking of Tim McClellan, the plate umpire, his son Cody, is celebrating his 4th birthday, and he wanted us to say hello to the youngster for his birthday tomorrow. Kelly fouls one off, 2-2. Kelly, Sax, and Azokar here in the first for Oakland. They've lost all, the Yankees have lost all 5 here. And they've lost all 3 Oakland has played at New York. Again, he missed the outside corner, and the crowd behind home plate groans. They want to help Mr. McClellan. It's 3-2. That should be handled by Felix Jose to start this game. 1 out.
Batting number 6.
This is a tough ballpark for home runs, despite these dimensions. 330 down the line, 375 in the power alleys, 400 to center. You would think the ball flies out of here, but it does not.
Only 2 parks in the American League are tougher in which to hit home runs. Comiskey Field, or Comiskey Park in Chicago, and in Kansas City.
Here, the strike on the inside edge. A good moving fastball to Steve Sax.
Sax 4 for his last 38. He's in a mini free fall.
And it's low and away, a ball and a strike.
Best way to get out of a slump is to try to go back through the box. That way you keep your front shoulder in there. Wouldn't be surprised to see Sax try to go through the box or to right field.
Or to try to bunt the ball.
Yeah, you know, bunting gets you a base hit, but it doesn't get you out of the slump.
2 balls and a strike with 1 out here in the first. Back to the mound. He tried to hit it up the middle, but the pitcher got in the way. 2 out. He did hit it up the middle.
Yeah, that does happen. Once the pitcher releases the ball, he becomes the 8th infielder. Rather routine play for Bob Welch.
And there are 2 out here in the first. Here's an interesting young player for the Yanks, Oscar Azocar. He has a unique batting stance. His feet are wide apart, and his front foot hardly moves when he swings. He fouls at strike 1. If you can, concentrate on his front foot.
Yeah, when you're spread that far apart, you can't stride any farther. Otherwise, you'd be a gymnast. I mean, Mary Lou Retton couldn't do what this guy does from the start.
And he pokes it into left, and back goes Jennings, and down go the Yankees. 1, 2, 3. They've scored very few runs against Oakland this year. The Yankees went down in order in the first inning, and now the A's will bat against the 6-foot 7-inch right-hander, Mike Witt, with a record of 1 and 4. Here's the lineup for the home team. Arnie Lansford is going to be leading off, and Doug Jennings in left field. Dave Henderson in center. Mark McGwire in first. Ron Hassey, the catcher. Felix Jose in right. The designated hitter is the catcher Terry Steinbach, and at shortstop Walt Weiss, Willie Randolph at second base. And this is Lansford. He had 3 hits and a walk yesterday, has his average up to 279.
He's done very well against Witt for his career. Lansford 23 for 60 against Mike Witt. And with Witt, elbow surgery, or not surgery, but on the DL with a bad elbow on June 6th. He was out for 2 months. And you can expect to see many more fastballs than you would ordinarily see against Witt, because it hurts him to throw that curveball.
So these A's can dig in and look for some fat pitches, and meanwhile Witt will try to work the corners. He falls behind, and even more so on the count, 2-0. But you're looking at a very good leadoff man, Carney Lansford, filling in for Ricky Henderson. It'll be a while before he plays. That's ball 3. A lot of free passes, and when you do that to a team such as Oakland, well, you double your problems. You're looking at a fellow who won 18 games previously, Mike Witt, and he pumps a strike in there, 3-1.
Kind of an interesting career. He won 18 games back in 1986. He pitched a perfect game on the last day of the season in 1984. One of 11 9-inning perfect games pitched in Major League history.
And there's a bouncing ball to deep short. Can Espinosa throw him out? He bounces it too late. I want to tell you a little bit about this shortstop. We saw him yesterday, and he really wasn't very impressive. A couple balls got by him going to the left. He didn't feel one to the right, but he had a cyst taken off his side up around the rib area a couple of days ago, and he's had about a dozen stitches, so he is not at his best. And I think he could have made a better play on that one, too.
I think yesterday a couple of balls, as you said, Jack, that he missed that ordinarily Espinosa sucks up, and that was another ball that he could have fielded, planted, and thrown out, but because of that injury to his side, he was unable to.
Here's Doug Jennings. He's playing where Ricky Henderson ordinarily performs in left field. Lansford has stolen 13 bases. There he goes. Hit and run. We told you about this team. They do it all the time. They don't sit around. First and third, nobody out.
See, think about the logic of putting on the hit and run the first pitch. 3 straight balls to Lansford, and then a strike, and Carney hit the 3-1 pitch, and now on the first pitch, Witt really trying to throw a strike, not trying to fall behind, and that's one of the responsibilities for a manager, to get a good pitch for a hitter to hit on a hit and run count. And Jennings took advantage of it. First and third, nobody out.
That's his first hit ever against Mike Witt for Jennings. He had been 0 for 4. There's Tony La Russa. His team is off and running. 172 games. They beat the Yankees 8 times in 8 tries, and there's Stump Merrill hoping for a triple play. The batter is Dave Henderson. And ball 1.
If you're hoping for a triple play in the first inning, you're struggling. The Yankees aren't struggling for the most part under Stump Merrill. They're 12-6 in their last 18 decisions, but they have been struggling against the Athletics.
Dave Henderson, Ian McGuire are their big hitters in the lineup today with the others out. And a foul goes out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's a lot of foul territory here in the Oakland Coliseum, and it costs these batters a lot of at-bats. Fielders can chase it for a long time.
We mentioned the dimensions, rather normal. The ball doesn't carry him, but also that foul territory, just one more reason. Or a lot of times you get a pitch that you put in play that in other ballparks would be back in the seats.
First and third and nobody out. The Thompson ball, that goes through. It's 1-0, and the lead runner stops at second. Crawls back in. Henderson got one up the middle, and it's 1-0. How do you stop this Oakland team?
Well, they can beat you a lot of ways. We mentioned that Canseco and Ricky Henderson are out of the lineup. Yesterday, they had 10 runs, 16 hits. The first 3 hitters this afternoon with 3 hits in a row. The infield back in double play depth, and Jennings forced to stop at second base.
You see the look on the pitcher's face. Oh, no, that went through. You know, those ground balls, they could be right at an infielder just as easy as they went up the middle. But that's pitching luck for you. Well, maybe the next guy will hit a line drive that'll be caught. Mark McGuire hitting .219 with 28 home runs. And they play him deep. And straight away. Think he'll be bunting, Tim? Strike, knee high, outside edge.
McGuire only 2 home runs from having 30-plus home runs over the last 4 years. He had 49 home runs his rookie season in '87. He's hit well against Witt, as you can see.
And he's 4th in the league in runs batted in. Good stop by the catcher, Guerin, but a poor throw as he tried to pick him off. Almost got the impact.
Now, well, usually if you make a good play on a ball in the dirt, you're not going to throw well because you can't come up with the seams. But that was a terrific play by Bob Guerin, the breaking ball in the dirt. And Guerin looked like a first baseman fielding that ball. Here it is one more time. Sharp breaking curveball from Witt, and by the time Guerin made the throw, it was errant to Sachs.
1 ball, 1 strike. McGuire, ball 2. Yanks went down in order, and the first 3 A's have hit safely. McGuire was hit by a pitch here yesterday and got his hander up a bit. Well, he took a good pitch that time. But he wishes he had that one.
Well, I think the Athletics are really thinking that they've seen Mike Witt before, but he usually throws a lot of breaking balls. As we said, he's not throwing as many breaking balls now because of the elbow problems that he's had. Only 1 start since June 6th.
Witt could certainly use the strikeout or the double play. It's a 2-2 count, first and second, and nobody out. And it just missed, 3-2. We'll see if La Russa starts the runners. It is Doug Jennings at second and Dave Henderson over at first. And 3-2 on McGuire. Runners going. A fly ball to deep right. Chased by Hall. He can't go far enough. It's 4-0.
What the Yankees are thinking. The Bash brothers are back again. No home runs yesterday, and now a fastball on the 3-2 pitch and a home run to the opposite field by Mark McGwire. Mike saying, "Oh no."
And now the next batter is Ron Hasse, and he hits a foul.
I'll tell you how unusual that home run was. Not that it was unusual that McGwire hit the homer, but that he hit it to right field. Coming into this game, McGwire was 8 for 92 when he hit the ball to the right side of the outfield. 0-87, 8 for 92, and now he pumps one out the other way. Everything is going in favor of the Athletics.
And a quick 2-strike count on the batter, Ron Hasse. The score 4-0 in the first. The Yankees played them tough to the middle portion of the game yesterday. Then it broke open. And of course the manager doesn't want to take the pitcher out in the first inning or the second inning or the third inning. Outside 2-2. Probably thinking, how long is it going to be before I have a pup like the A's? Lansford single, Jennings single, Henderson single homer run, and McGwire hit the homer. And maybe we'll get an out here. That's the first out in the first inning. Good play by Espinosa. That's a little better, says Stump. We have a busy day of baseball, and the Reds are leading San Francisco 5-3 in the fourth. The Expos are still in the picture in the National League East. 6.5 out and leading. The Cardinals putting a hurt on the Pirates again today in the 7th inning behind Tewksbury. The Dodgers are still in the picture in the West, and they're ahead this afternoon. Here's ball one to Felix Jose.
In the National League East, the Cardinals and the Cubs are playing very well since the All-Star game. The Cubs visiting New York today. 1-1 ball game.
That one is on the corner. And a ball and a strike to Jose.
Unfortunately for the Cubs and the Cardinals, just a bit late to start after the All-Star break, being 13, 11 games back.
A late swing, a half swing, and a foul. 1-2. Mark Grace hit a home run today for the Cubs. Goodyear Blimp is still with us, as it was yesterday and at the football game that you saw on CBS last night where the Raiders beat the 49ers. 1-2 pitch and a strikeout for Witt. And it is fastball, fastball, fastball today, Tim.
One after the other. I believe this was a breaking ball. It's almost like Witt is coddling that breaking ball and not throwing it. And there again, we talking to Mike before the game, and he said the elbow is just not completely healed, and it's really been painful when he throws the breaking ball.
It's been a painful first inning for the Yankees, who trail 4-0 here in the first. Harry Steinbach is up. He's the DH, batting .241. Jose Canseco could pinch hit today. He has a bad back, and he has a sciatic nerve problem. That's why you'll see him standing up most of the time during the day. Foul back, good swing by Steinbach, 1-1. that sciatic nerve injury, it's tough to sit down. Had the pleasure of being on the American League All-Star team. The more you talk to him, the more you realize how things revolve around him with this Oakland team.
He is one of the leaders on this club, no question about it, from Ulm, Minnesota.
2 balls and a strike the count. A long first inning for the Yankee pitcher, Mike Witt. 4 runs on 4 hits. 2-2.
I said Ulm. It's New Ulm. U-L-M. New Ulm, Minnesota. We don't want to get the folks in New Ulm all up in arms.
No, the 3 of them will get mad at you. 2-2 the count. And a fly ball is how it's going to be caught by Azokar. 4 runs, 4 hits, 1 inning, 4-0 in favor of the Yankees. 4-0 in favor of the A's. Well, let's see how Bob Welch handles prosperity. Mel Hall leads off, 2nd inning. And he got a breaking ball in there for a strike as the A's lead 4-0 over the Yanks. Mel's batting .266, playing right field. And time is called. You could hear the umpire, "Hold on, Bob." He was yelling out to Welch.
It's funny how Welch works. He works very quickly from the windup. Look at those numbers, 15, 17 twice, and 18 this year.
What a drive by Hall, but it's curving and going foul. Foul ball, and that's strike 2. He hit the heck out of that thing.
I'll tell you why it was a tough call for Durwood Merrill down the first baseline. The ball was over the screen.
Over the top of the screen.
Yeah. Yeah, that screen is there. So an umpire. Oh, come on.
99 career home runs, and he went by Tim McCarter earlier this month.
I'm sure Mel was excited about that number.
That ball is hit to 3rd. Lansford, top play. Beautiful. Great play by Lansford, playing off the line with a left-handed batter up there.
You know what the players would be saying now after that near home run down the right field line, and now this cue shot down the left field line, the players would say, same guys hit them both. Fine play by Carney Lansford. Look at him. He's in foul territory when he throws this ball. He's going one way and throwing back across his body. Good play by Lansford.
He takes care of that hot corner. Sets up in a unique fashion down there at 3rd base as each pitch is made. This one coming into Kevin Moss. And a strike. 13 home runs for the sensational rookie of the Yankees.
And 110 at-bats, faster than anybody else in Major League history.
And he homered here yesterday. He takes strike 2 from Bob Welch, who's not fooling around with him.
Learned a lot from Clete Boyer, who was a coach here for the Athletics. And Clete taught him, among many things, how to get ready for ground balls. It's very unique.
And ball 1. He's right down on the deck with that glove. And then at the same time starting in with a pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Indians having a good day today, leading the Tigers. The Twins over Toronto. That hurts the Blue Jays. White Sox have a rain delay. Just missed. 2-2.
Welch was a good pitcher with the Dodgers. When he came to the Athletics, Dave Duncan, the pitching coach, taught him that split finger fastball. And that was it.
That was it, and it gets the strikeout for Welch. His first. He's retired 5 in a row. Greg Gumbel is with us in New York City.
Well, Jack, you just saw the score. Take a look at Mike Harkey of the Cubs with a bases-loaded single to right off 15-game winner Frank Viola of the Mets. The Cubs scored 4 times in the second and lead the Mets 5-1. Meanwhile, the Pirates trail St. Louis 4-0 in the 8th. Pirates started a half game back. Let's go back, Jack.
And the count is ball 1 to Matt Noakes, the designated hitter. Greg Gumbel told you about Harkey, the Cub pitcher, getting a hit. That's not an accident. He's a good hitter for a pitcher. He's a big fella at 6'5", and he helps himself. Noakes tries to be the first Yank to get on base here. Yankees trailing 4-0 in the second, and Bob Welch has set down 5 in a row. Now ball 3. Used to wear the Tiger uniform.
Came to the Yankees June 4th for Lance McCullers and Clay Parker, 2 pitchers.
And a strike. You see these Yankee batters wearing that number 1 on their left sleeve. And that's a tribute to Billy Martin. That's ball 4, and Noakes gets a walk with 2 out.
Interestingly, the Yankees, the first team in Major League Baseball to wear numbers back in 1929. And they're the only team in baseball now not to have the names on their back of their road uniforms.
Wonder why they're stubborn about that, do you know?
Tradition, I imagine. Like pinstripes, I would think.
Here's Jim Leyritz. He's one of the good young players, and on at first is Noakes with 2 out, being held by McGuire. Leyritz batting .270. Yesterday I made a remark about this batter. He's playing third base today, saying he was a catcher and a good catcher, but didn't want to catch. And what did he tell you today, Tim?
He told me today that up to this year, he was primarily a catcher. As a matter of fact, the Yankees playing him at third base. He played third base in the outfield for Columbus. This proves another point that catchers are great athletes. They can play anywhere.
But this fella, including center field, this fella's versatility is well regarded by the Yanks. And he's a pretty good hitter. With 2 out. That ball missed, and the count is 2-1. A walk to Noakes. New York looking for their first hit. They trail 4-0.
Surprised McGuire's holding him on. He's not going anywhere.
That is going to be into right field and chased by Jose in the bullpen, and nothing doing. 2-2. Jose can play all 3 outfield positions for Oakland.
Bob Welch, the winningest pitcher in the major leagues, and in the American League, 3 more than Dave Stieb and Chuck Finley, California. Roger Clemens was 16, and Dave Stewart was 16 again. I'll tell you, Stewart, 87, 88, 89, won 20-plus games. He has 16 wins again this year. And again, there's a chance that he may not be the Cy Young Award winner.
Because of this fella, Bob Welch.
Right.
3-2, runner going, foul out of play. With 2 out here in the second. 4-0 Oakland. Casey just turned the set on. A base hit by Lansford, base hit by Jennings, RBI single by Dave Henderson, and a 3-run homer by Mark McGuire. Welch doesn't want to walk another here. Runner going, out of play again. 48,000 plus. Nice sunny day. Took a little while for the fog to burn off here in the Bay Area this morning, but it's wonderful now. Nice place to play, Tim.
Ideal. Gorgeous day.
Runner going again, and another foul out of play. This playing field, by the way, is well manicured, and a lot of the players on both teams say it's the best field in which to play in the American League.
The 18th sellout of the year for the Athletics. They went over 2 million in Friday night's game.
Ball 4. So Welch opens the door a little bit. Puts 2 on with walks. Oaks down to second. Leyritz at first. And LaRussa makes a little note of that. Have to talk to him later.
Well, 2 walks with a 4-run lead. I would imagine that is the note that Tony was writing down. Bob Welch obviously upset. When you have a 4-run lead, you really want the opposition to earn getting on base.
Maybe he tried to be too cute with a pitch on the corner. Trying to get him out inside. This is Bob Guerin. He took a home run swing, strike 1. He has hit 7 home runs. Frequently you'll see the batter turn around, say something to the umpire like, was that a strike? Was it in the strike zone? That's out of the strike zone. 1-1. 2 on, 2 out for the Yankees. They scored only 1 run yesterday. They missed some early opportunities. Put the first 2 on base twice. Outside to Guerin. This is one of the differences in the American and National League. Here's the number 8 hitter. And you say, well, it won't matter if he walks him because the pitcher's up next. But instead, it's going to be Espinosa coming up. So that's the difference in this DH business. Let's see how Welch comes after Guerin. There's Espinosa. 2 balls and a strike. 2 on, 2 out. Another big swing. 2-2.
Had a healthy cut at the first pitch, and this pitch again out of the strike zone up. Bob wanted to put the Yankees 1 run down with those swings.
Yeah, that would have been ball 3. Now it's 2-2. And a line drive puts the Yankees on the board. The play will go into third base, and it's 4-1. He stayed back very well. Looked like Welch took a little bit off that pitch, and Guerin singled the run home.
Like a breaking ball after those 2 wild swings up. The breaking ball off the plate away. And Guerin delivers with the first base hit for the Yankees in the game. Little slider away, hits it off the end of the bat, drops it right in front of Jennings in left field. A diving Weiss can't get to it, but there again, the 2 walks really put Welch into trouble, not the base hit.
That's what happens to some pitchers. They get the lead 4-0. They lose their concentration a little bit. Now the Yankees are on the board trailing 4-1. A big lift for them today if they can come back and win this one. Followed by Espinosa, who's batting .228. Now at second we have Jim Leyritz and Bob Guerin, the runner at first. And the batter is Espinosa. 1 strike. They play this fella to hit to the opposite field. Henderson into right center. Felix Jose near the line. And they're pitching in that way also. Ball 2, and this crowd's getting a little restless.
Yeah, I think more than the depth, or certainly as much as the windage of the outfielders, is the depth of Jose in right field. He's playing a shallow opposite field, knowing Espinosa has no power the other way.
That is low, and that's 3-1. Lots of advice coming from the stands out to the pitcher. 3-1 the count. And a foul out of play. The way he was going, it's 3-2, and now the runners will go with the pitch. Oakland 4 runs on 4 hits. The Yankees 1 run on 1 hit. Leyritz relieved from second, and Guerin away from first. Espinosa chased a high fastball and struck out. The Yankees score 1, and they lead 2, and they trail 4-1. That one run with Mike Witt might help him, Tim, and give him the idea his teammates can come back for him.
And Bob Welch is probably kicking himself right now for walking 2 with 2 outs, and that eventually led to the Yankee run.
And the batter is going to be Walt Weiss to lead it off. The shortstop, he's hitting .274. And ball 1. I mentioned yesterday, the more you talk to baseball people about this fellow, the more highly regarded you realize he is by a lot of people. Some say he's as good as anybody. Anybody, now or previously. Add to that his offensive performance, .274 average and 30 RBIs, 7 stolen bases. He's a good piece of property. Gets one to the other shortstop. Into the dirt, and a good play by Moss. Greg Gumbel has more for us in New York.
Well, Jack, in the East, Toronto is trying to catch Boston. Minnesota not doing them any favors today. Gene Larkin's base hit up the middle caps a 3-run third inning. They added 2 more in the third, and now it is a 5-0 Minnesota lead over Toronto in the 4th. Jack?
Okay, Greg, and Boston started the day 2 games ahead of Toronto. Boston, by the way, comes in here, so they'll have to tackle the A's next.
Start a 3-game series tomorrow night, and once again, the 9th hitter in the American League, the ex-captain of the Yankees, Willie Randolph. You mentioned the designated hitter rule. That's not the only difference in the regulations between the National League and the American League. You know, the scout in the press box or the coach in the press box with those electronic devices that go down to the dugout? Well, you can't do that in the American League. There is no eye in the sky in the American League. The meetings at the pitcher's mound can only consist of a pitcher, catcher, 1 infielder, and a coach or a manager. Only 4 on the mound. In the National League, you can invite fans on the mound if you want.
Really?
No, but there's no limit to the number of infielders, manager, catcher on the pitcher's mound. And then, of course, the biggest difference, the designated hitter rule.
3-1 pitch is ball 4. That's the first walk given up by Mike Witt. It goes to Willie Randolph. And we come around to the top of the order. Indians still leading the Tigers 9-2 in the 7th inning. And as Greg told you a while ago, 5-0 Twins in the 4th. Still a rain delay at Chicago. And the Royals beating Milwaukee 7-1 in the 4th. This batter, Lansford, started it all on the 1st with a base hit. And eventually scored. 1 on, 1 out. And a while to play.
I'm sure with the rain delay in Chicago, none of the White Sox players are tuning us in today to see how the Athletics are doing. White Sox entered today's action in the American League West 4.5 games behind the Oakland Athletics and have just had a terrific season so far.
1 on, 1 out. Well, the A's ran earlier. Let's see if they do it again. Nice play by Guerin again. Chicago and the A's will meet a few more times before it's over.
In late August and late September, the last time the White Sox were here in Oakland, they swept the Oakland Athletics after losing 3 of 4 to them the weekend before at Comiskey Park.
It's too early to say that'll be a do-or-die series, but they certainly will be important. The runner is leaning but not going, and it's a 2 for 2 for Lansford. He shot that one past Leyritz.
Late reaction by Leyritz also.
I had the same impression.
Yeah, a lot of times with the sparkling sun that's here in Oakland, a lot of times an infielder, the ball will get lost in those white shirts, and that's what appeared to happen to Leyritz on this ball. It's only about a yard from him, hit very well, but Leyritz just didn't react well. He's almost diving from a flat-footed stance.
And that brings out the pitching coach, Billy Connors, to talk with Mike Witt. There's Jeff Robinson down in the bullpen. As the Yankees are forced to warm up a pitcher here as early as the 2nd inning.
Billy Willie Connors telling us before the game on Friday about Mike Witt and throwing a lot of fastballs.
Well, I think, Timmy, when I saw him last year, I didn't see the velocity of the fastball that I had seen previously. I think he was more of a breaking ball, too many breaking balls, where he got to the point where it took away from his fastball. And when he came over to us, the one thing I said to him is that you have an excellent fastball, and we can even get it better, but I want you to go more with your fastball and then not throw as many curveballs. When you do throw a curveball, it'll be an excellent curveball, because we all know Mike Witt's got one of the best curveballs in baseball.
Batter is Doug Jennings. He got a base hit his first time up on a hit and run. Earlier we saw that curveball from Witt getting the strikeout of Felix Jose, but for the most part it's been power pitching here today by the right-hander. Willie Randolph got back. He's the runner at second. And Lansford across the way at first base. 2 on, 1 out. Runners are going. Fouled it out of play, and he almost nailed the on-deck hitter, Dave Henderson. So they're not standing around with a 4-1 lead.
I'll tell you, with a favorable count, I've always loved that first and second hit and run. As you look at Dave Henderson, Dave's all right. A favorable count meaning when the hitter is ahead of the pitcher. Willie Randolph at second base and Lansford at first. They're pretty fast runners, but that's not really the gauge by which you decide to hit and run. It's really the hitter, whether he can make enough contact to put the ball in play. Jumps are not necessary on hit and run plays. So the speed of the runner, for the most part, is not important.
And Jennings steps out, has a look at the third base coach again.
I think we're seeing more managers in baseball be a little bit more adventurous with runners at first and second. Over the last 3 years, you can see that changing a bit. They're sending a lot more of the runners and putting the hit and run in effect.
1-1 to the batter. And a foul ball makes it 1-2. Souvenir. Rene Lachman is the third base coach.
Rene's brother Marcel, the pitching coach for the California Angels.
Jennings filling in left field where Ricky Henderson ordinarily plays. Willie Randolph. With Lansford at first. Witt got him. That's his second strikeout.
And both have come on breaking balls. Another one to Rob Jennings. You can really see that is not the vintage curveball that you're used to seeing from Mike Witt. And you can tell he's really nursing the breaking ball up to the plate, not snapping it off as he often does. But again, the bad elbow is causing that.
They put it in a good spot, however, and he got the strikeout. So they're 2 on, 2 out for Dave Henderson. Henderson drove in a run with a single in the first, and Guerin has been bouncing around behind the plate, doing well. Ball 1. Ninth inning, getting late. Cardinals 17 hits and leading 6-0, and the Dodgers winning, trying to stay in this thing. Los Angeles started the day only 7 behind Cincinnati. That's ball 2. Two out. If he loses Dave Henderson, he'll have to pitch to McGuire. 2-0 the count. He hit that ball hard. Hold it away, foul, 2-1. This Henderson is a pumper. He was batting second yesterday. I said, "You good number 2 hitter?" He said, "Are you kidding?" He said, "That's the furthest thing from my mind is advancing runners."
19 home runs proves that point.
I'd like to advance them home, that's all. 2-1. 2-2. 4-1 here in the second. They about hit the Yanks 5-1. Swing on a walk. They have 2 men on base. Here we go. 3-2, 2 out. Tried to bait him with a high fastball, but Henderson wouldn't bite.
Almost forced to throw the fastball again now, because if you miss with the curve, McGuire is going to be hitting with the bases loaded.
You shall see. The runners will go. There they move, and a foul. It stays 3-2.
The deeper in the count that a hitter goes, and the more pitches he sees, obviously the chances of him getting a hit go dramatically up. Your timing's better. He has seen 6 straight fastballs, and he's had a good cut every time he has swung the bat. The 2-0 fastball, the 2-1 he just missed, and he just missed that 3-2 fastball.
Runners are on the move once more, and the bases are loaded to McGuire. The second walk, and we're going to have a new pitcher. McGuire, who hit a 3-run homer in the first, won't get a chance to bat against Mike Witt with the bases loaded here in the second. Now Merrill out of the dugout, and it's going to be Jeff Robinson out of the bullpen for New York. Bases loaded, 2 out.
This relief break is sponsored by Rolaids.
Well, Tim McCarver used the word earlier, vintage. It was not vintage Mike Witt today. He didn't get through 2 innings, and he leaves the bases loaded for Jeff Robinson to pick up. Bases loaded, 2 out, and Mark McGuire with a 3-run homer in the first at the plate. That ball moved down and away from McGuire, strike 1.
That's his money pitch, that sinker. He also throws a slider, a split-finger fastball. Coming to the Yankees in the Don Slaught trade, a young right-hander, Willie Smith, came over with Jeff.
1-1.
In the first inning with runners on first and second, a 3-2 pitch, and Mark McGuire, a rare home run the other way. He crushed it.
He was just trying to hit behind the runners. Bases loaded. Here's one that should end the inning. Force out to Sachs, and Oakland fails to score. They leave 3. We've played 2, and the A's lead it 4-1. The Yankees have scored 1. They've left 2, and it's the top of the order. Roberto Kelly in ball 1 from Bob Welch, who's walked a couple and fanned 2. The Yanks have only 1 hit. This fellow flied to right his first time, and that hard breaking ball is on the corner. Sometimes they call it a breaking ball. Sometimes they cut the fastball, and you can't really tell the difference. That ball is headed for Felix Jose. 1 out. Greg Gumbel's having a busy afternoon in New York.
Well, Jack, Bob Tewksbury, the former Yankee, his afternoon is over. At Pittsburgh, he puts the cap on a 6-hit complete game shutout to run his record to 7-3, and the Cardinals are now 8 wins and 11 starts under new manager Joe Torre, Jack.
And that's 4 wins in a row for the Cardinals, and they hurt the Pirates. And a good strike from Welch to Steve Sachs, who is mired in a slump. Wrapped back to the pitcher his first time. Welch can hit a little wild streak once in a while, Tim.
Yeah, he walked 6 in a game June 15th against the White Sox this year.
That's what
But they're helping him out a lot. You saw to end the second inning, Espinosa going for a high fastball. We saw Guerin going for a high fastballs. And now right here, the high fastball.
No way to hit that one on 2. And right at it. That's another thing that happens when you're in the slump. Trying to hit the ball good, and you hit it right at the second baseman, Willie Randolph. So Sachs carries the bat back.
Yeah, if you're any kind of hitter, you have a tough time accepting that argument that things even out. Got the broken bat hits even out with the balls hit good right at guys.
Why is it Hasse catches Welch every time? Any particular reason?
Well, I think he's successful catching Welch, and that's the biggest reason. He's caught Welch every start this year.
2 out in the inning. 3 in a row set down by Welch. And that ball is popped up foul for Lansford. Glass is down. And another 1-2-3 inning for the Yankees. We'll return to the Oakland Coliseum after this word from your local station. This picture from the Goodyear Blimp Columbia, based in Carson, California. Charles Russell, the pilot. He's from Downey, California. And here we go into the bottom of the third, and Ron Hasse breaks his bat and hits it to Moss. And he is 0 for 2. And Jeff Robinson in relief has taken care of the 2 batters he has faced. There's Ron Hasse. He is the caddy, as they call him, for Bob Welch. As Tim McCarver used to be for that left-hander in Philadelphia.
Well, I resent the word caddy.
They get paid pretty good.
I was not a caddy for Steve Carlton. I caught Steve Carlton the last 4 years of my career.
I'm sorry.
You have rankled me.
Here's a line drive into right for Mel Hall. Nice play, 2 out.
Caddy. 2 pitches, 2 outs right here. This split finger fastball to Jose is rifled to Hall in right field. I tell you, when I went back to the Phillies, Jack, Steve Carlton wasn't throwing his slider, and the only thing I did differently with Steve was to call for his slider. I went around shaking hands with people with 3 fingers down for about 4 years.
That was the sign for the slider. He had a dandy, and he ate up those right-handed batters. Here's ball 1 to Steinbach. Hit the ball well, but flat out to left his first time. There's a good strike from Jeff Robinson. The pitching coach of the A's, keeping a good eye on Bob Welch today, is Dave Duncan. Big breaking ball from Robinson. 1-2.
I don't think any catcher who is a pitching coach has had as much influence on a pitching staff as Dave Duncan has on the Oakland staff. He's taught Dave Stewart and Bob Welch the split finger fastball. Mike Moore, Gene Nelson. Split finger fastball. Now here you've got a catcher who was never a pitcher teaching a pitching staff a new pitch because he realized early the success of that pitch and how effective it was.
3-2 to Steinbach. Well, I can't help myself any longer. I saw that Goodyear Blimp and it reminded me of what a caterpillar said when it saw its first butterfly.
What?
You'll never get me up in one of those things. There are 2 out here in the bottom of the third, and a foul ball. Keeps it 3-2.
You're not a blimp aficionado. You like the pictures, you just don't want to pilot it, right?
Take a ride in one of those. And there's the picture they send down. Steinbach has 5 home runs. Through the hole and a base hit. The 6th of the day for the Oakland team. And they have had men on base in each inning. That's the first hit against Jeff Robinson.
Steinbach, a good low ball hitter, and this ball down and in. He remembers the low ball that he hit off Rick Russell in Game 2 of last year's World Series. A series, of course, swept by the Oakland Athletics. Just absolutely dominated a good Giant ball club.
And the first baseman plays behind Steinbach, and Walt Weiss takes ball 1. He's grounded to short his first time. Suffering, New York. Good play by Robinson. Oakland has left 4. They lead 4-1. Ball and Moss and Noakes coming up. Sago better get back in the lineup. He's putting on little weight sitting around. No, that's not him.
Facially, that fella there who's wearing Canseco's one of the shirts they sell here. It looks like Fernando Valenzuela.
Mel Hall hits the first pitch into center for Henderson, and there's one out.
I'll tell you, the real Canseco, visiting clubs just stop to see him hit. You know, you might think that's a good thing to see all the young hitters. There's Roberto Kelly. This was Friday before the game, standing around the cage watching a guy hit. But you know what they're doing? They're admiring him. And I'm not too sure admiration is called for when you're trying to beat the opposition. As a matter of fact, Stump Merrill said something to that effect this morning in the San Francisco Examiner.
Here's a breaking ball strike to Kevin Maas. He struck out his first time.
Stump was quoted as saying that you've got to guard against giving the opposition too much credit. And I agree with that.
Now the count 1-1.
Stump Merrill replacing Bucky Dent in Boston on D-Day, June 6th. How about that in Boston, where Bucky Dent hit that famous home run after the '78 season?
Breaking ball, and he hit it to the opposite field, 1-2.
We mentioned Kevin Maas has hit the most with 13 home runs, or the fastest to get to 13 home runs and 110 at-bats. Also the fastest to get to 10 home runs, 12 home runs, 13 home runs. Wally Berger, the fastest to get to 14 back in 1930 when he had 38 home runs.
And let's see where that takes him as he chases Mark McGwire, who hit 20 home runs and 178 at-bats. And then you see Rudy York, Ken Phelps, Babe Ruth, and how rapidly they get to those plateaus.
Babe Ruth was interesting. It took him over 1,100 at-bats to reach the first 50. But then he hit 100 in his next 900 at-bats, or right around there.
Big thing about Maas is he hits that ball out in front. He has very quick hands. He's batting with one out, bases empty, his club trailing 4-1.
He's got a Yankee Stadium swing. That could be lethal on the road.
And he struck out against the Welch breaking ball. That's the third strikeout for the Oakland pitcher.
What is a Yankee Stadium swing? Well, it's a swing tailored to pull the ball. Of course, Kevin Maas, that's not to say every time he makes an out on the road that he's going to be trying to pull the ball. But there are a lot of Yankee hitters over the years that have hit much better, left-handed hitters in particular, that have hit much better at Yankee Stadium because it's only 310 down the right field line.
Matt Noakes struck out his first time.
That's one of the reasons the Yankees got Matt Noakes, as a matter of fact.
This pitcher has retired 6 in a row. And the Cubs pouring it onto the Mets 7-1 in the 5th. Reds leading late, 8th inning, 6-3 over the Giants. Trying to get back 5.5 ahead of San Francisco. And the Cardinals beat the Pirates 6-0. Dodgers in the chase. They lead 7-2 late in the game, 8th inning.
In that Cincinnati game, Hal Morris, another good day, 2 for 2, 2 RBIs, an ex-Yankee. And we'll see Hal Morris next week against the Pittsburgh Pirates next Saturday.
Over in Cincinnati, they're chirping about that slide of Will Clark last night, which upset Barry Larkin. Created some ill feeling between the two clubs. The count is 3-1 on Noakes with 2 out. Welch has already walked 2. And Noakes chased a high fastball. I think it was out of the strike zone. 3-2. 6 in a row set down by Welch, who leads 4-1. Cassie, the catcher. That's the 3rd walk by Welch. And has him talking to himself a bit. Tony La Russa wondering why his pitcher would do something like that with 2 out and a 3-run lead.
Welch has never won as many games as he's already won this year. Never won 20 games. He's just a much more complete pitcher with the Oakland Athletics than he was with the Dodgers, primarily because of that split finger fastball.
He almost screwed himself into the ground as the umpire called time. Previously, his high was 17 victories. He's 18-4 now. fly ball for the right fielder, Felix Jose. Now the Yankees have left 3. Bottom of the 4th, they trail 4-1, and Willie Randolph leads it off for Oakland. We're at the Coliseum here in Oakland, where the A's chased the starter, Mike Witt, in the first with 4 runs. They lead 4-1 in the bottom of the 4th, and it's strike 1 to Willie Randolph from Jeff Robinson. Robinson has allowed 1 base hit. Curveball didn't get down, 1-1. By the umpire, 2 balls and a strike. Randolph drew a walk his first time. All-time Yankee record for games played at second base for this man. And he hits one on 1 hop to Leyritz. And there's 1 out. Last night it was San Francisco at Cincinnati. Kevin Mitchell at the plate. Will Clark running from first, and watch what happens to Barry Larkin, the shortstop.
Mariano Duncan fields this ball over second base. He gives Larkin the little lob, and watch Clark right there, the late slide, and he went into the left leg of Barry Larkin. Larkin being toppled down on top of Clark, and the Reds did not like that at all. It was a late slide by Will Clark. I tell you, when we were looking at that before the ball game, Jack, I thought that was a pretty clean slide, but the more I think about it, because it was late and because he hit the leg first instead of the ground, I'm not too sure.
I have seen Will Clark do that before. He started a rumble in St. Louis when he nailed Jose Oquendo at second base. He's a hard, tough player, and he realizes what the consequences might be, and he's willing to play in that fashion.
Larkin has a strained left knee, but certainly the whole Cincinnati Red ball club, coaches included, took exception to that slide, primarily because it hit the leg first instead of, usually when you slide, you cushion it. You can take a guy out by hitting the dirt first and then coming up and hitting the leg. It was a straight-in slide, but he hit the leg of Barry Larkin first, and I think that's why the Reds are angry about that slide.
The Reds are leading by 4.5 and winning their game today. And Lansford is finally retired by the Yanks. He's 2 for 3. What does Greg Gumbel have in store for us?
Well, Jack, as you say, the Reds are looking to stretch their lead to 5.5. Chris Sabo with a 2-out single here in the 7th brings home run number 6. But the Giants have knocked out one nasty boy, Rob Dibble, but another has come on in Randy Myers. It's 6-4 Reds in the 8th.
6-4 Cincinnati in the 8th. 2 men gone here against Jeff Robinson, and ball 1 high. This might be the final inning of work for Robinson in relief of Mike Witt. That's up high again, ball 2. Randolph grounded out. Lansford struck out. We're in the bottom of the 4th, 4-1 Oakland. And the batter is Jennings, and he hits a foul out of play. Eric Funk, a former member of the Oakland team, is warming up in the New York bullpen. Jennings 1 for 2. Batting .200. Over but low, and it's 3-1.
I think Jeff Robinson has better stuff than to be a middle reliever in the American League. He's 2-1 as a starter this year, 1-5 in relief. I think he should be starting for the Yankees.
That ball slices foul, making it 3-2.
When you have quality pitches like he has, a good sinking fastball, the split finger, a fair breaking ball, but he throws strikes, and that I thought was one of the reasons they obtained him from the Pittsburgh Pirates to start, and he started off the season in the bullpen.
He's been a starter, a closer, a middle relief man. He struck him out as Jennings was caught looking. That's the second strikeout for Robinson. Now we played 4 innings, 4-1 Athletics.
CBS Sports presents Major League Baseball. Today's game is brought to you by General Motors. GM is putting quality on the road. Extra strength Rolaids with 1,000 milligrams of fast relief. And by Reebok, it's time to play.
We are at the Oakland Coliseum. Tim McCarver, Jack Buck with you. Fifth inning. Jeff Robinson has kept the Yankees in the game, and New York sends up Bob Guerin, who had an RBI single in the second against Bob Welch. And he took a good fastball strike. Guerin prefers left-handed pitching. Outside 1-1.
We mentioned that the Yankees have lost 8 straight to the Athletics this year. This is their 9th game. It's the Athletics 8-0. It's not that they beat them, it's how they've beaten them. They have just dominated the Yankees this season. The Yankees have scored 6 runs, this being their 9th game against Oakland.
Stump Merrill, when he was managing in the minor leagues, he used to go back home to Maine and coach a high school football team. It's quite a mixture. Makes for a busy year. Up and into Guerin, 2-2.
So much consistency on this Oakland pitching staff. They have used only 5 starters all season long. 5.
Others get up to 10 or 12 that they have to pitch. Half swing, he held up, I think. How about it, Derwood? No, I don't think so. Let me think about it. No? He's from Hooks, Texas, Derwood Merrill.
Hooks, Texas? Well, this is a fastball, and it looks like Guerin held up. Hooks, Texas.
3-2 pitch, got him. That's the 4th strikeout for Welch.
We mentioned that Oakland has used only 5 starters, and Jack, you're exactly right. 12 starters for the Giants. Dave Stewart with 26, 25 each for Mike Moore and Bob Welch. Scott Sanderson with 24, Kurt Young with 15. The only other team to do that in the last 86 years, the 1966 Los Angeles Dodgers. Koufax, Drysdale, Osteen, Don Sutton's first year, and Joe Moeller.
A pretty good pitching staff also, wasn't it?
The last American League team to use 5 starters all season long, the Boston Pilgrims in 1904.
The Pilgrims?
The Pilgrims. Yeah. Wow.
I think those pitchers used to cut the ball on their shoe buckles for the Pilgrims.
For the Pilgrims, huh?
There is 1 out. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes the count to Espinoza. Struck out his first time and fouls 1 this time. The Yankees have only 1 hit. That was the base hit by Guerin with 2 out in the second that drove home the run. Indians win 9-5 over Detroit. Bouncing ball, Weiss. Rose on the move. 2 out. There you can get a lot on that ball. He seldom settles down and plants his feet.
That's right. He doesn't have as strong an arm as a lot of shortstops, but watch how he throws on the run. You'll see Walt Weiss throw much the same as the shortstop for the Giants across the bay, Jose Uribe. He does a lot of that throwing on the run.
There are 2 out and around at the top of the order, and Roberto Kelly hits a foul. Twice he's flied to right. Only 1 hit for New York. Not many baseball players hail from the home country of this batter. Kelly had him on. Pitch inside, 2-1. Still raining in the Windy City. 9th inning, Kansas City has a good lead over the Brewers. And the Orioles alive in the pennant picture, leading early in the second inning. Kelly drops a base hit to right. Second hit for New York. Kelly has stolen 25 bases. Bob Welch allows his second hit. Good relief work by Jeff Robinson. He got that last out in the second inning with the bases loaded and kept it as is, 4-1. out. The Yanks still have a chance here. 2 out, and then the hit, and here's Sachs 0 for 2. Hit the ball well one time and lined out. And he pops it foul. Lots of room. There's McGuire. Another left for New York. They have stranded 4, and they trail by 3. Well, our friend Pat O'Brien made his debut with overtime last Friday night, and he's coming up again next week at 11:30 Eastern Time.
George Foreman, Terry Bradshaw, and MC Hammer. You know the rapper MC Hammer? Interesting story. He was discovered in the parking lot right outside of the Coliseum here in Oakland by Charlie Finley. Charlie Finley asked him if he wanted to be a bat boy. He became a bat boy. And later on, he was financed in the music business by 2 Oakland Athletics, Dwayne Murphy and Mike Davis. And here he is, the hottest thing on the market, MC Hammer.
And Danny Sullivan, the race car driver, will join Pat O'Brien Friday night. Eric Plunk checks in as the pitcher, and Henderson hits one to the center fielder, Roberto Kelly. 1 out here in the Oakland 5th. I talked to Henderson. It's a small ballpark by dimensions, but he says it's tough to hit it out of here.
Well, of course not. They compare this to the dungeon. I mean, this is a Coliseum, and the fog rolls in, and there's dew on the ground, and the ball doesn't carry. The dimensions look normal, but you hit one out of here, you really hit one.
He didn't that time, and he is 1 for 2. Here's McGuire, who's 1 for 2.
You know, as we said earlier, the dimensions are not what is impressive, but the ball just doesn't carry, and that makes the feats of McGuire and Canseco and Dave Henderson that much greater.
And it's even more so at night, more difficult to hit the ball out of here, they tell us. McGuire popped a 3-run homer in the first, and then was retired with a bases loaded in the second.
You can see where McGuire's ratio of home runs per at bat much greater on the road than it is here at the Coliseum.
2 balls and a strike the count. So he's a road warrior. McGuire fouls one away, 2-2.
Look at over the last 5 years, the road home runs. About 140, 160 more road home runs than home runs.
Plunk into the game here in the 5th inning. And McGuire wouldn't go for the high fastball, 3-2. On the Goodyear blimp, you check the size of this Coliseum baseball field. 3-2. Breaking ball, and that froze him and struck him out. Plunk's first strikeout. The crowd didn't like the call. Looked like a pretty good pitch from up here.
3-2 pitch. McGuire looking for the fastball, and he got the slider. Whenever you see a hitter buckle, you got him. Watch the buckle right there. Looking for a fastball, takes the slider.
Here comes Ron Hasse. He's 0 for 2. Ball 1. Jeff Robinson pitched 2 1/3. Gave 1 hit, struck out 2, walked none, kept it close here. And Eric Plunk has picked up where he has left off. All 4 Oakland runs against Mike Witt. That ball right by him.
Take one more look at that. McGuire taking the 3-2 pitch. A lot of old-time players refer to this as jelly legs. That front leg just buckling, and McGuire probably didn't get a good look at the ball. That's why he thought it was a ball. Looking for a fastball, got a slider.
Hasse with 2 out. And that went low. Ball 2, 2-1. Third base umpire said no. Shulock said he didn't swing. We're in the home half of the 5th. 4-1 Athletics. They got 4 in the first. None since. Hasse a foul, 2-2. With 2 out. Shirt sleeve crowd. A lot of the gents have the shirts off, soaking up the sunshine today. 48,000. The sellout weekend here. Plunk runs it to 3-2. Stays 3-2. The Yankees better get busy. They just don't score runs against Oakland. Ricky Henderson, a spectator these days with a pulled hamstring. We've referred to him as perhaps the best leadoff hitter in the history of baseball. So it has an impact when he's out of the lineup. As he walks. That's the third pass given to the A's to go with their 6 hits. The first given up by Funk. Cassie hadn't stolen the base, and they'll play behind him. Felix Jose has struck out and lined out to right. Having a rather good rookie season, hitting .261 at the start of the day. Inside. This player, another of the many from the Dominican Republic. He's from Santo Domingo. Ball 2. Bob Guerin steps out in front of the plate, talking to the pitcher about keeping his arm up. Runner at first, 2 out. They got it past him, 2-1. Look at Ricky Henderson as he watches the action.
It's a Ricky view. Tony La Russa calls one-run rallies by the Oakland Athletics, for the most part, Ricky rallies. Said he can do it all, and boy, can he.
Plunk gets the ball. A man left for Oakland. They've stranded 5. After 5, Oakland leads it 4-1. They've out-hit the Yanks 6-2. And the Goodyear blimp shows us this view. And here we go with Azocar. And he fouls one. He's 0 for 2 against Bob Welch. From the Goodyear blimp. The Columbia. They don't get a very close look at the baseball game itself. Azocar pulls it to right, but Felix Jose moves to it, and they're 1 out, and the batter is 0 for 3.
We talked about Azocar's unusual hitting style with that wide stance. He just picks his foot up, his right foot that is, and puts it down. And does he ever love to hack? Watch, see, he just puts it up and plants it. He's standing so far away, there's no way to stride.
Mel Hall. Ball 1. He's 0 for 2.
In 107 at-bats this year, Azocar has walked. Not once.
0. Nada.
Nada.
Hall is grounded out, flied out, and he hits one to Henderson. 2 out. That's what we're talking about. This ball just doesn't carry in this part. Kevin Moss homered yesterday. He was the last player to leave the ballpark, and he signed autographs for the folks.
Say you, he's a good-looking dude, and the heartthrob, or certainly the potential heartthrob of New York City. And a lot of people have compared him to the movie star Rob Lowe. And we thought it might be nice to see how Rob Lowe looked with a Yankee hat on.
Yeah, how would he look?
How would he look?
Kevin Moss breaks his bat and gets a hit. Now let's put a Yankee hat on Rob Lowe and see what comes of it.
I bet he looks just like Kevin Moss. Well, there. He looks just like Kevin Moss, doesn't he? No Moss.
I remarked yesterday, I thought he looks a lot like Dale Murphy, long time of Atlanta, now with the Phillies. Well, these Yankees just haven't scored any runs against Oakland. This is a serious situation. They've scored 2 runs in the last 33 innings against the A's. And they have scored 6 runs in 79 innings. Can't win like that. Matt Noakes is up. Runner at first, 2 out. Here's another final. Cincinnati beats San Francisco 6-4, and Cincinnati leads by 5.5. And they're ahead by 6 on the loss side. Noakes is struck out and walked. Time called by the umpire. A little note here that the hitter can ask for time. He doesn't call time. He asks for time, and then it's up to the umpire to give it to him. Noakes could make a tighter game of this one with a runner at first, 2 out. And he has power. He has hit 9 home runs.
Had 32 for the Tigers back in 1987.
Buck Showalter is the third base coach. That's out of play.
You know a pitcher's throwing hard when the hitter is looking for a fastball, gets it, and fouls it back the other way. 2-0 fastball, Noakes gets it. Now here's a guy who pulls the ball a lot, strong hitter, and he fouls it back the other way. That's when a pitcher's just overpowering a hitter.
2 out, Moss singled, and Noakes pops a foul back here to make it 2-2.
Players talk about hitters not being able to catch up with the ball, and Noakes hasn't been able to catch up with the fastball the last 2 swings.
Coaching at first base for New York, it's Mike Ferraro. Used to be the third base coach, former American League manager. 2-2 with 2 out. Noakes stays alive. Oakland leading here in the 6th inning. Yanks have 3 hits. They've been given 3 walks. Ball 3. Now the runner will go. Let's try to get him with a breaking ball. Welch sitting on 18 wins. Is on the move, and a fly ball should be handled. Left fielder Jennings has it. Now New York has left 5. We'll return to the Oakland Coliseum after this word from your local station. Kind of their theme here in Oakland. Carney Lansford came up with the thought, stay focused. And some people say it's tough to repeat, but they've already repeated, Tim, and they're trying to do it again.
Lansford had that stay focused motto when he showed up in spring training. He had T-shirts made up with stay focused on there. And boy, he is really one of the leaders along with Steinbach. The Athletics have a lot of guys who are leaders. You might say, well, they're leaders because they play well. That's true. But that stay focused had something to do with other than just playing well.
Espinosa with a fine play from the hole to get Steinbach, who is 1 for 3 now, the first out in the 6th inning. I told you earlier that Espinosa had a cyst removed from his side.
Makes this play rather easily because he had a slow runner to get. Shortstops go to their right. Often they circle the ball and come up throwing on the run. That looked more like a play that Walt Weiss would make.
Throwing on the move. Here is Walt Weiss at the plate. Switch hitter shows the bunt. This will be a tough play for Leyritz. Save. We saw a similar bunt yesterday where the ball just doesn't roll foul here. It stays inside the line.
Yeah, that bunt yesterday actually started off foul and ended up about 1.5 feet fair. So if you bunt it fair, you know it's not going to go foul. Leyritz, a strong throw, barehanded pickup, a very close play at first base, but Weiss was safe.
He's on base with 1 out, and Willie Randolph is up. We've already seen Oakland use the hit and run 1 time today. We might see it again. Thinking the same thing threw over.
You know, Jack, we might see it, but one of the combinations, remember we talked about earlier, got to be a pitcher that throws strikes, a hitter that makes contact, but a pitcher that primarily keeps the ball down. Plunk keeps the ball up, and he's wild. It's tough to put a ball in play on the ground against Eric Plunk.
They pitch out, so the Yankees thinking hit and run. And it's ball one to the batter, Randolph.
A lot of baseball fans say, well, what's the difference in hit and run situations? Well, if a pitcher is wild, he doesn't throw a lot of strikes, and he keeps a lot of balls up, then if you put the hit and run on, the chances of the hitter putting the ball in play in the air are better than a guy who keeps the ball down.
Runner not going, and that's ball 2. He might go now. 1 on, 1 out, 6th inning, 4-1 Oakland. They haven't scored since the first inning. McGuire capped that first inning with a 3-run homer. Dave Henderson drove in the first run. Hitting room to the right side. Randolph is good at going in that direction.
That's that spin move from Eric Plunk. Don Drysdale used to use that move with the Dodgers. What happens is you put weight on your left foot and you spin to first base. It's very close to a balk because you're really deceiving the runner.
Runner still not going, and ball 3. Perhaps you're right, Tim, about not running because Plunk does get wild at times.
Yeah, he just doesn't throw enough strikes to put the hit and run against him. Allowed only 2 steals in 9 attempts this season. Bob Guerin, an excellent thrower behind the plate.
Plunk pumps a strike in there, and it's 3-1.
Matter of fact, that's one of the really positive things for the Yankees, their defensive catching. Bob Guerin and the other catchers this year have thrown out 43% of the runners. That leads the major leagues.
Runner at first, 1 out. 3-1 on the batter. Fly ball, slicing, foul. To the mound to talk to his pitcher. 3-2 the count.
He'll be running right now because it's 3-2, 1 out. Rene Latchman over at third base, and you saw Weiss lift his head up. He's saying, give it to me again. I want to make sure. Now I probably look at the first base coach. A lot of them look back to the first base coach, and if the first base coach winks, then he's going.
Good throw over there by Plunk.
It used to be if you're the runner at first base, you look at your first base coach, 1 wink you're stealing, 2 winks a hit and run. Well, right here with the count 3-2, all you need to do is wink.
Runner goes, and the throw is too late. But the batter is what? Out on strikes? I think so. The batter, Randolph, can't believe it. Are you kidding me, he says? I thought he swung at it.
I did too. I thought he went too far. The ball out of the strike zone, but Willie couldn't hold up. Take one more look at it. Well, I don't know from that angle. The hands went through the strike zone, but the bat head didn't. It was interesting. One more look from this angle. Yeah, that's too far.
That's the 2nd strikeout for Plunk, and that's the 8th stolen base for Walt Weiss. Now Guerin is going to talk it over, and he says, hey, we've got Lansford up and Jennings next.
Right-hander in Lansford, but a left-hander in Jennings. But this is one of those rare situations where you would be more inclined to pitch around a good hitter like Lansford. Not that Doug Jennings isn't a good hitter, but he just doesn't have as many at-bats as Lansford does. Lansford's 2nd in the American League in hitting last year as Lee Guterman is warming for the Yankees.
Lansford has 2 singles. Faces Plunk for the first time. And ball 1. I don't think he'll get much to hit in this at bat. We're in the bottom of the 6th, and it's 4-1 in favor of Oakland. And the runner at second, 2 out. Strike at the knees. 1-1. Lansford has 38 runs batted in this year.
constant movement with the bat head, the fingers, the hands, always active. You wouldn't teach a young hitter to hit this way. All has to do with style.
And the count goes to 3-1. It looks like they are indeed pitching around him. Some pitchers, catchers, managers don't like to pitch around the batter. Either walk him or pitch to him and try to get him out.
I think there are times to do both. There are times, sometimes just put him on, and other times to pitch around. I think this is a pitch around situation.
There's a strike, however. Got the breaking ball over on 3-1.
A pitch around situation is one in which you want the hitter to hit your pitch, and that pitch, a very good slider on the outside corner. Nothing fat. Only lean pitches.
That's what Plunk is thinking right here. Steps off. Bottom of the 6th, 4-1 Oakland. They haven't scored since the first inning. Three and 2 with 2 out. And he walked. Second pass by Plunk, and let's pass it over to Greg Gumbel.
Well, Jack, the Mets are not enjoying the afternoon at Shea Stadium. Ryne Sandberg with a man on in the 8th inning. That's his National League leading 27th home run of the season. And the Cubs have it all their own way this afternoon, 10-1, and they're still batting in the 8th, Jack.
10-1 in favor of the Cubs. Here comes Stump Merrill, and we're going to see our 4th Yankee pitcher of the afternoon. It's going to be Lee Guterman, 2 on, 2 out. The new pitcher is Lee Guterman, a record of 7-4 and 1 save. And he takes over for Eric Plunk. Plunk pitched an inning and 2/3. He leaves 2 men on. And he gave 1 hit, struck out 2, walked 2.
Yeah, and there's a situation where he was supposed to pitch around Carney Lansford, and he did indeed pitch around Carney Lansford, and once he did it and he walked him, he's replaced by Guterman.
And now Lance Blankenship comes off the bench to hit for Doug Jennings. Jennings was 1 for 3. Blankenship had 2 hits yesterday. Entered the game as a pinch hitter, got a hit and stayed in. On at second base, Walt Weiss. He singled, and Lansford on base for the 3rd time today. He walked 2 on, 2 out. Blankenship batting 157. That's low. That's ball 2. Jose Canseco staying on his feet with a bad back and the sciatic nerve problem. Brings about the 3rd out. And 2 left makes it 7 left for Oakland today. 4-1 Oakland. They've been ahead throughout. And into the 7th inning we go. Bob Welch performing strongly, and he throws ball 1 to the leadoff hitter. Lance Blankenship stays in the game after pinch hitting unsuccessfully, and he's in left field. Jim Leyritz is first up. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Calls time. 7 hits for the A's and 3 for the Yanks. Well hit ball for a base hit by Leyritz. Gives New York some life here in the 7th inning. Here's what's transpired thus far. First of all, New York has dominated in the run scoring department against Oakland this year. Had 1 run yesterday and 1 today, and they've been outscored 41-6 this season. And they're 0 for 8 against him. McGuire hit his 29th home run with 2 on and nobody out in the 1st. The RBI for New York by Bob Guerin in the 2nd inning.
After 2 2-out walks.
Here comes Guerin again. He singled and drove in a run, and then he struck out, and he fouls 1, strike 1. This is the first time in the game that the Yankees have put their leadoff man on base.
Third time through the order. The batting order has seen Bob Welch. Now, Bob Welch may be tiring a bit, and for that reason, Todd Burns is up and throwing for the Athletics. At third, fourth time through the order, it's much easier to hit a pitcher, as you see Todd Burns. You know what the pitch, you know how he's going to work you. From a catcher's standpoint, you don't want to work a hitter the same way the third time that you've worked him the first two times.
He's out in front on the count to Guerin and throws it high. Bob Welch up to 100 pitches. They'd like to get him through this 7th inning and then take advantage of that outstanding bullpen the A's possess. It's 2-2 to Guerin. The Yankees have left 5. They've had men on base in 5 of the 7 innings. Cardinals beat the Pirates, as you saw, and the Dodgers win their game over Atlanta. But they failed to pick up ground on Cincinnati. The Reds beat the Giants. Is this a double play? It certainly is. That's the last thing the Yankees needed here.
There are different ways for a second baseman to protect himself on double play balls. Routine for Lansford, but not routine for Randolph. Watch him use the bag for protection at second base. Randolph doesn't have the mobility that he once had. See him use the bag right there? So that bag can protect the second baseman. There are different ways you can do that. You can come across the bag and cheat, or when you get the ball early, you can use that bag, and that's what Willie did right there.
We have a pinch hitter, Jesse Barfield, and he is batting for the shortstop, Espinosa. With 2 out here in the 7th. Not a very propitious spot to use him, but the Yanks employ him nonetheless.
You know what I think? I think a lot of times managers will say, you're going to be the hitter if one of the first 2 guys gets on. And Leyritz was the first guy on. Now the double play, and Barfield's there, and he just goes up to hit. It's not a good spot to hit to use Jesse Barfield.
They lifted Barfield the other day for a pinch hitter, Mel Hall, and that ticked him off a little bit.
Yeah, he's not real happy. He leads the Yankees in home runs, first year of a 3-year contract, and he is not happy at all being platooned.
That's with 2 out, and a breaking ball got him there, and it's 2-2. That double play just might propel Bob Welch through the rest of this game. And he has had 2 complete games. Ball 3, we showed you Burns in the Oakland bullpen earlier. He's seated now. So they still like the way Welch is performing. 3-2 to Barfield. This batter has 15 home runs, and a breaking ball is foul. It almost stayed in Hassey's glove.
Hey, a lot of people think because you have that mask on, foul tips like this don't hurt. I guarantee you they hurt. That mask will twist around. It did, fortunately for Ron, hit the glove first. No, it didn't hit the glove first.
That staggered the catcher, Hassey.
That'll stagger you, I guarantee you.
3-2, 2 out, 4-1 Oakland, top of the 7th. And ball 4. I don't know why he tried to get that breaking ball over Tim with a 3-run lead. 2 out, being pretty stubborn, isn't he?
Well, there are a lot of different ways to approach that. I mean, do you allow the score? The reason that some pitchers are not good pitchers when they have a big lead is because they cease pitching the same way before they got the big lead. I mean, a lot of it has to do with feel. A pitcher, sometimes pitchers think they can get the slider over better than the fastball. I mean, he's been messing with the fastball all afternoon. The Yankees have been helping him with a lot of high fastballs.
Count's gone to 1-1 on Kelly. He's 1 for 3. And a lot depends on how the catcher feels the pitcher is throwing also.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, there's the guy with the ball. There's the guy with the ball. He should be the one to make the decision.
He's out in front of this batter, 1-2. Now it's Rick Honeycutt warming up in the bullpen. Todd Burns, and now it is Honeycutt. Kelly 1 for 3, bounces it to Lansford, wants the short throw. The inning's over. A double play, 1 left for the Yankees, who have stranded 6. 7th inning stretch, 4-1 Oakland. There's a picture of the Oakland Alameda Naval Station, where the U.S. Navy ship Mercy, a hospital ship, leaves tomorrow morning for the Mid-East. That's a shot from our Goodyear blimp.
We are also obviously hoping it's not going to be used.
Correcto. Tonight on CBS, Evening News with Connie Chung, and 60 Minutes with a bonus, the very latest on what's happening in the Middle East. You can stay on top of that crisis. Followed by a CBS Monday night movie, Escape from Sobibor. All tonight on CBS. Very dramatic movie, by the way, so good viewing for you all evening long. And here we go into the bottom of the 7th inning. And David Henderson leads it off here in the bottom of the 7th, 4-1 Oakland. He single homer run in the first. Scored ahead of McGuire's homer. Walked and flied out 1 for 2. Ball 1 from Guterman. And we have a new shortstop for New York.
Wayne Tollefson is shortstop, the first time he's played in this series.
Took over after Espinoza was lifted for the pinch hitter. And Henderson wanted the umpire to check the baseball. Guterman. And a foul. 1-1. This pitcher is the 4th of the day for New York. Mike Witt, against whom all 4 runs were charged. Jeff Robinson did well, and so did Eric Plunk. And Guterman got the final out in the 6th. One ball, 2 strikes.
In bunches in that catching position. You remember Ron Hasse getting one in the mask in the top half of this inning. And now it's Bob Guerin's turn. Wow. That one really hurt. That went right through that chest protector.
Staggered him. Nobody on or out, and Henderson hits it to Leyritz. Good job. And 1 out. Next Saturday, we continue our baseball coverage here on CBS. And the Pirates will be in Cincinnati, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Now, that game has been changed from a night game to a day game for those of you who attend the Cincinnati Red games. And others will see the Angels taking on the Boston Red Sox from Fenway Park. There are a couple of good matchups. Before they can get home, the Red Sox have to play here starting tomorrow night. McGuire hit a 3-run homer. Left 3 on in the 2nd, and then struck out. Hit into a force out with the bases loaded in the 2nd inning. 2-0 the count. The Yanks still have a chance in this one. They'll have the number 2 hitter to lead it off in the 8th inning.
Hey, we talked about Carney Lansford and that Stay Focused logo that has been kind of the rallying cry of the Athletics all year long.
Another one for Leyritz. Oh, he got him. He picked it up in time. 2 out.
And Tony La Russa talks all the time about changing the message. He said the message might be the same, but you got to change the message. Just reword it to keep the inspiration year after year after year. And these guys, well, they have a juggernaut. No question about that.
And you mentioned earlier, Tim, the leadership among the players, from Lansford and McGuire and Steinbach and the others.
You have it on every level. You have leadership on every level, from the general manager right down through the coaches, the players.
And it adds up to championships. Here's Hesse, 0 for 2 with a walk. Bottom of the 7th, 2 out, 4-1. Oakland, and that's a strike.
Play, that ground ball to Leyritz, the throw was low, but it wasn't in the dirt. But watch Kevin Moss. He drops the ball.
Missed it.
Yeah. Actually, it's off his glove, and then he picks it up barehanded. Watch, just off the glove. Fortunately for Kevin, he stays there, and he picks it up barehanded to retire Mark McGuire.
McGuire gave him plenty of time to make that play.
Yeah, Mark is not speedy.
2-2 to Hesse with 2 out. Leyritz will throw out the side. After 7, it is 4-1 in favor of the Oakland A's.
CBS Sports presents Major League Baseball. Today's game is brought to you by Toyota's quality line of cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Advil, advanced medicine for pain. And by the companies of the Prudential. Come to the Prudential and build your future on the rock.
Steve Sachs leads it off here in the top of the 8th inning. And then there are 3 left-handed batters coming up for the Yankees, Azokar, Hall, and Moss. And that's why Rick Honeycutt continues to throw for the Athletics in the bullpen.
Heading and 1 for Weiss. Inning. And Sachs 0 for 4. York limited to only 4 hits by Welch, who's gone the distance and is trying for a complete game for the 3rd time this year.
I don't know whether he's going to have a chance for it. I'll tell you, La Russa, one of his strong points is, regardless of what happens, if he thinks a reliever's ready to come in the game and big matchups, he'll bring them in. 1 pitch, 1 out. Welch got the out, and I think he's going to make a move to Honeycutt. He doesn't care what happened. Welch has over 100 pitches. Now it's up to the bullpen. I think he'll make the move right now.
And he makes the moves before the trouble starts.
Yeah. I think that's a good thing, too. I'm not positive he's going to Honeycutt, but yeah, he just made the move.
The crowd here, 48,000, salutes Bob Welch, who leaves with a 4-1 lead and 1 out here in the 8th inning, and Rick Honeycutt will come from the bullpen. Welch, 7 1/3, 1 run, 4 hits, struck out 4, walked 4, and he gives way to Rick Honeycutt. Has a record of 2-2 with 5 saves. Left-handed batter Azokar. And right out of the bullpen, throwing a strike. Azokar, and then Hall, and then Moss. If it goes that far. Foul ball, strike 2.
Tell you, Honeycutt, extra valuable to the Athletics because he's a left-hander. Used specifically in the middle innings, middle to late innings for left-handed hitters. He has 5 saves. And Gene Nelson has 5 saves. All the other saves from the bullpen have come from Dennis Eckersley.
Some left-handers can't retire left-handed batters. Honeycutt can and does right here, 2 out. As Willie Randolph made the play, and Eckersley cranks it up in the bullpen.
Tony La Russa will tell you that he rarely gets Eckersley up without using him. So I would imagine if Honeycutt retires the left-hander Hall, that you'll see Eckersley in the 9th inning. He hasn't worked in 2 games.
And one thing about this situation with 2 out is Mel Hall bounces 1 to first. Down in order they go. They've already used Jesse Barfield off the Yankee bench. Now we're into the bottom of the 8th, and it's still 4-1 Oakland.
Since divisional play, the Orioles have won all the games during the season. They did that back in 1970. They beat the Royals 12-0, or 12 games in a row. And then in 79, it was the Orioles over the A's, 11 straight. And then in 1988, most recently, the Royals over the Orioles, 12 straight.
And if Oakland nails down this victory, they'll be 9-0 against the Yankees this year. It's the switch hitter, Felix Jose, leading it off. And he's 0 for 3. Lee Guterman, the pitcher, and a foul out of play.
That, by the way, excludes the 1981 strike season when baseball was on strike for a little over 2 months.
Some of the 48,000 scrambling for that foul ball off the bat of Jose, and it's ball 2. All of the Oakland runs in the first inning. One driven in by Henderson and a 3-run homer by McGuire. Out goes 2, 3-1 on the leadoff man in the 8th. His first of the day, and number 8 for Oakland.
Only the 4th hit for the Athletics since the first inning. Felix Jose, a big, strong guy. I'll tell you one thing. You go through that Oakland clubhouse, and it looks like a football clubhouse. I don't think I've seen a better trained Major League Baseball club than the Oakland Athletics, and I'm talking about 31 years.
They are big, and they do a lot of work with the weights.
Matter of fact, one of their coaches, even their coaches are in shape. Rene Latchman at third, and over at first base, Dave McKay, and he's the strength and fitness coach. Here's Dave.
He's in shape himself, isn't he?
Yeah.
Leadoff man is on. Look out. A base hit up the middle by Steinbach. His second. 2 on and nobody out.
Low ball right-handed hitters are much more prevalent in baseball today. I really don't know the reason for it. Steinbach, a low ball hitter. He gets a sinker from Guterman, spanks it back up the middle. Tell you, there are just many more low ball right-handed hitters. It used to be almost everybody. As you look at Dave Righetti warming up, it used to be in baseball pretty much left-handers were low ball hitters, right-handers were high ball hitters. That's not the case anymore. There are more low ball hitting right-handed hitters in the game today than ever, I think.
Well, let's see if La Russa wants to bunt with 2 on and nobody out in the bottom of the 8th, and his club leading 4-1. These the first hits against Guterman. Weiss pulled the bat back, ball 1.
Hey, it wouldn't be a good time, or it would be a good time to change things. You see how the infield is pushed toward the first base side. It's wide open on the left side. Weiss is having a good year. It'd be a good time for the hit and run. You got a sinker ball pitcher on the mound.
Instead he bunts and it goes foul. But they might switch on. A situation like this, you'll see this Oakland club function, perform. They get it right. What they try to do, they usually get done.
Got the shortstop Tolleson covering second base. The second baseman going to first. And Moss covering the left side of the infield open. Sinker ball pitcher is going to get some ground balls.
1 ball, 1 strike. Bunting again and a pitch out. Guerin looking for a throw, but there was none.
I think the Yankees were looking for a hit and run play. But if you're looking for a hit and run play, the shortstop shouldn't be covering second. Jim Leyritz, the third baseman, giving the signal. That's whether they're going to put the rotation play on. Now, on the rotation play, you may be familiar with it. The third baseman, first baseman charge. The shortstop goes to third, and the second baseman goes to first base.
And meanwhile, the count has gone to 3-1, and Guterman might load them up with nobody out.
Yeah, through all this strategy, the pitcher's got to throw strikes.
Goes from LaRussa to Lachman, to the batter and the runners.
It is a good time to hit and run right now. Weiss, a contact hitter. If the pitch is a ball, you take it.
They are not going, and the bunt plays to third too late. Sacrifice and a fielder's choice. And the bases are loaded, nobody out, and nothing breaks the game open any more than that particular play where you fail to get an out.
Yeah, no error given on this play. It's a fielder's choice. Sacrifice, obviously, as Jack said, for Weiss. Moss just a little tardy. A big jump from second base by Jose.
And that brings the Yankee manager out. Felix Jose got in there ahead of the throw, and Stump Merrill talks to Guterman. Sacrifice and a fielder's choice. A lot of head shaking going on out there. There's Righetti in the bullpen. Hasn't been called out there yet. Oakland already leading 4-1. Pitcher will stay in with the bases loaded and nobody out.
Dave Righetti, the career leader in saves. Back in 1986, he had 46 saves. That set a major league record, but look at Eckersley. He could blow that right out of the tank this year with 37 already, with 2 months left to go in the season.
And he is relaxing in the bullpen. Randolph at the plate hit into a triple play a couple of days ago. Bases loaded, nobody out, and a play to home. And the first is not made. They just get the one out and a fielder's choice.
Infield in, and this ball hit fairly well to Tollison. I'll tell you the play there. Guerin, because Steinbach hesitated at second, instead of thinking about going to first, I think he should think about going to third. It'd be one of the, you could see Steinbach hesitate at second base. Why he hesitated, I don't know. But it would be one of those rare 6-2-5 plays.
Now the switch by Stump Merrill to Righetti.
Bases loaded, watch nobody out, and watch the runner at second base, Terry Steinbach, hesitate on the ball hit to Tollison. The ball hit right to Tollison. Now right there, you see Steinbach, for some reason, was going back towards second base. Now the play's in front of the catcher, Bob Guerin, and for some reason, Bob turns to throw to first base. That's an unusual situation where you could have a 6-2-5 double play.
And it keeps the bases loaded with one out now and brings up against Dave Righetti, Carney Lansford. He's had 2 hits and a walk. He replaces Guterman. Bases loaded, 1 out. Lansford went up there hanging, foul ball.
Seems like Stump Merrill's done his homework, because Lansford's only 5 for 24 against Dave Righetti, while being 3 for 7 against Guterman. So Carney has not handled Righetti very well throughout his career.
Yanks already trailing 4-1 here in the bottom of the 8th. Can't afford to give up any more runs. The pitch is high, 1-1. Righetti with 24 saves and a record of 1-2. Lansford, 2 singles and a walk. one out. And a hit. Kelly comes up firing. 2-run score, and it's 6-1. Third hit of the day for Lansford. And the Oakland crowd loves it. 6 runs on 10 hits.
Carney Lansford, 3 hits Friday night, 3 hits yesterday, 3 hits today, and this last one, a key hit that may have wrapped it up for the Athletics. RBIs number 39 and 40 on the year. I'll tell you, that Lansford, a professional hitter. He can hit.
Willie Randolph stopped at second base. Here's Blankenship, who pinch hit, grounded out, and stayed in the game to play left. 0-1. First time since May of '88 that Lansford has had 3 consecutive 3-hit games. But you can see when he gets hot, he can tear it up. 2 on, 1 out. It's 6-1 in the 8th. That's over but low. First and second, 1 out. No, Rigetti couldn't get the double play ball as Lansford singles home a couple. Randolph at second, Lansford at first. Maybe a double play ball on that one. And they got them both, but 2 more runs for the A's, and after 8, they lead it 6-1. We go. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. 6-1 Oakland into the 9th. Rick Honeycutt came on and got the last 2 outs in the 8th. Will pitch to Kevin Moss, who's 1 for 3. And he gets ahead on the count. Uno Moss they want here. A bouncing ball for Randolph. Honeycutt is retired 3 in a row.
Since it is the last time the Texas Rangers will be in Chicago this year, the last day, it's still a rain delay. Man, that's a long rain delay. The White Sox entering today's action 4.5 games behind the Oakland Athletics. They beat Texas a doubleheader on Friday and lost yesterday, and they're the standings up to date. And of course, the Athletics only 2 outs away from another victory.
And Honeycutt, if he nails it down, will get his 6th save of the year. Throws one low to Rick Cerrone, who's the pinch hitter. Batting for Matt Noakes. Cerrone batting in the 9th, and the Yankee attack against Oakland has been woeful. Awful, terrible, lousy, puny.
All of those, all of the above.
There's the line drive, and Weiss grabs it for the 2nd out. One of the best shortstops in the game.
I guess Tony La Russa's players say, what do you need? You need a good defensive play? Okay. Carney Lansford, you need a clutch base hit? Okay. You need the long ball with McGuire? All right. We can do that. And remember, Henderson and Canseco have not played the last 2 games. Canseco played Friday night, but not Ricky Henderson.
When this game is over, Tim and I will select the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the game. And Chevrolet will donate $1,000 in the player's behalf to the Special Olympics. The Yankees have scored 2 runs in the last 36 innings against Oakland, and they're about to lose for the 9th time this year without a victory against the A's. The count 2-0 to Leyritz, who has a single and a walk and one of the 4 New York hits. Been no errors in this game. With 2 out, a strike. Yankees have left 6, hit into a double play. to 3-1. Both bullpens are quiet. Bob Welch is 1 out away from his 19th victory of the year. It'll be 19-4. Honeycutt makes it 3-2. Leyritz doing a good job of working the count, trying to get down with his club trailing 6-1. Some years he's played with quite a few clubs, but he's in the right place now. 3-2. Another foul. Connie Chung has the evening news, ever so important these days here on CBS, and then 60 Minutes. Had come in here having won 12 out of 18, but they've been slowed down. There's ball 4, and that's the 5th walk given to the Yankees today. Good job of hitting by Leyritz with his club. 5 runs behind. We've had some pretty pictures from our Goodyear blimp, Columbia, piloted by Charles Russell. And we thank them for the good work. And here today and for the football game last night at Candlestick Park, where the Raiders beat the 49ers. Bob Guerin has driven in the only Yankee run. They play behind the runner at first with 2 out. Ball 1. Get another runner on there. We might see Eckersley before the day is over.
The Athletics have held the Yankees to only 6 runs scored all season long. In 1983, since divisional play, 1983, the Dodgers held the Phillies to 15 runs during the season, beating them 11 of 12 times. The irony of that was that the Phillies came back to beat the Dodgers in the playoffs and advance to the World Series. They won 3 out of 4 in postseason play.
Well, these Yankees have been punchless today.
And all year against the Athletics. 6 runs. This is their 9th game.
And if they drop this one, they will have lost all 6 played in Oakland. Well, Honeycutt retired 4 in a row. Now he's sprung a leak. He walked Leyritz. He's 3-0 to Guerin. Still nothing doing in the Oakland bullpen. Rick, you're on your own. For the moment. There's a strike. On the East Coast, local news will follow CBS Baseball. 3-1 the count. With the runner at first, 2 out. Oakland got 4 in the first, 3 and a home run by McGuire, scored 2 in the 8th. They're sitting pretty, but now a walk. The second by Honeycutt. Tony La Russa keeping track of things.
And the phone right behind Tony La Russa. The key thing now, I think that's going to get Eckersley up. When you see Dave Duncan going to the phone, and there's Eck. Call to the bullpen.
He warmed up earlier. Shouldn't take him too long. Dave Duncan, the pitching coach, goes out and talks to Honeycutt.
For those short relievers, those guys who get a lot of saves, they can warm up with a handshake.
He warmed up earlier, so a couple of tosses down there, and he'll be ready. But Honeycutt now has to pitch to the batter after the visit to the mound by Duncan. This pitcher started running a little bit, and Honeycutt couldn't find the strike zone. But he can afford to challenge the batter with a 5-run lead. Balboni is the hitter. Earlier, the Yankees used Jesse Barfield. He drew a walk. 2 on, 2 out. Ball 1. Some of the fans have left. Others started to leave and then came back after Honeycutt walked one man and then another. Now Boney should make him pitch. He should take a strike. There's ball 2.
Looks like he has that idea. We've talked about it on our broadcast before, Jack. You don't see that in baseball. It's one of the disappearing things. It's fundamentally sound if you're not the tying run in the 9th inning, 7th, 8th, 9th inning, to take a pitch. And even though there are 2 on, Balboni does not represent the tying run. He needs to get on base.
Reds won earlier today. There is a strike, and it's 2-1. Cincinnati beat the Giants 6-4. The Cardinals beat the Pirates 6-0. And the Dodgers won to stay as close as they were. And the Cubs beat the Mets. Indians win over the Tigers. And the Blue Jays dropped one. Balboni fouls it 2-2. Still rain delayed at Comiskey Park. And the Royals beat Milwaukee. Montreal in the 6th inning. Orioles leading over the Angels 10-1. Montreal won their game to take advantage of the losses by the Pirates and the Mets. And a strike is called, and this one is over. So Honeycutt causes the Mets to leave 2 more, and they have stranded 8. Our Chevrolet most valuable player is Bob Welch, who won his 19th game of the year today to run his record at 19-4. Did a good job for 7 1/3 innings, and a save for Rick Honeycutt, which is his 6th of the year. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 in Bob Welch's behalf to the Special Olympics. So Oakland at this moment 5 games ahead of the White Sox, and back to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Jack, thank you very much. And we want to remind you that coming up this Friday night, it is Overtime with Pat O'Brien, and Pat's guests will include Terry Bradshaw, George Foreman, and MC Hammer. It gets underway at 11:30 p.m. And then on Saturday, CBS Sports continues its coverage of Major League Baseball. Some of you will see the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds, while others will watch the California Angels visit the Boston Red Sox. And we'll be here with the pregame show at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. I'm Greg Gumbel in New York for Jack Buck and Tim McCarver. For all of us here at CBS Sports, thanks for watching, everyone.
CBS Sports presents Major League Baseball. Today's game has been brought to you by Toyota's quality line of cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Sears Die-Hard battery, now with more power when you need it most. And by AFTA, sensible care for sensitive skin. AFTA by Menon.
The Yankees are 0 for 9 against the Athletics. 6-1 A's the final today. You've been watching Major League Baseball on CBS, home of the League Championship Series.